Awesome. Okay. Welcome to this week's podcast. Can you believe that it is December, ladies?
Woohoo.
Unreal.
Woohoo. Are we excited about December or kind of like
It's coming, whether we are or not.
That's right.
I know.
It's coming
well,
for
listen,
you,
I think
Bertha.
this week's episode is a good one. I think that there are a lot of people who talk about this, who talk about the presents, gift giving, gift receiving to versus presents. And so what I want to do today is talk about, what are the difference? Why do we like to give and receive actual physical presents? And then maybe thinking about, do we replace it with more ideas that provide a presence together, whether it's during the holiday season, whether it's the gift of a membership to something. So let's talk about that. First of all, tell me quickly, because I want to hear about you, Alecia and Kari, who are here with me. What do you remember? One of your favorite gifts as a child? What's a gift you remember, Kari?
I don't even know how old I was, but it was probably in the 80s sometimes. This is going to date me. But I received a portable TV it was my own TV that I could put in my room, and I could turn it to whatever channel that I wanted to watch. And being the youngest of four, I felt so powerful that I get to choose and nobody else gets to tell me what to do. So that was one of my most memorable gifts.
That's
no
awesome.
one was allowed
Before
to
phones,
walk
where you
in
could
and
just literally
turn
have
that
it right
channel
there.
on you. Crazy.
Nope.
So
I
one
love
of,
that. What about you, Alecia? What's a
yeah,
present you remember?
So one of my favorite gifts that I remember getting, and I don't remember if I got it from my parents or my grandparents on my dad's side, but I remember opening it at my grandparents' house, was a baby alive. And I always wanted to be a mom. I loved kids. I think I was like 6 years old at the time. So I was always playing mommy. I wanted to have like 50 kids until I knew how that happened. But yeah, so I got this baby alive and I could feed her and she pooped and there was like special food I could mix up for her and change her diaper. I just thought that was the cat's meow. That was amazing. That was a super cool gift. That's kind of core memory for me.
I love a baby alive. I had one of those too. Well, mine is kind of, I don't know, it's a little more serious, but it kind of brings us around to the topic for today. When I was in the fourth grade, our home burned down 4 days after Christmas. And I was real excited about this present I got. It was a curling iron. If you know me, you know I love some curled big hair. So I was super excited in the fourth grade to receive this gift. And I had taken it to my friend Lisa's house, and I was spending the night with her. And about midnight, my parents show up covered in soot and saying our home had just burned to the ground. And y'all, I was, of course, devastated because we lost our home and we lost all of our Christmas presents and things, but that one gift. So I was thankful for that one gift. But more importantly, I was thankful for my family. We ended up having to move into a hotel for 2 weeks. And I remember that so clearly. It was right next to a McDonald's, and we'd have to go to McDonald's for breakfast and then go to school. And the time being together with my family was so good that it really did change the focus from the presents that we had just received and lost to being together as a family. And I think that really set the tone for kind of how I view the holidays. Is it about the presents? And listen, I love a present. And if you know me, I love a present. But what I love about a present is that the person knows me, that they would give me something that they know. I have a pair of turquoise beads that I wear all the time. If you ever watch me on social media or on podcast, my daughter-in-law gave me those beads because one, turquoise is one of my favorite colors and I love long beads. And it is probably one of my favorite gifts. And she's such a good gift giver. She pays attention and she always is sending me things she knows that I love or I mention. She'll remember that I mentioned something. What do you think makes a good gift? What's important to you about the actual physical gift?
Nailed it. It's just that knowing that somebody is paying attention to who you are and listening to those details, and it could be something expensive or not, it doesn't even matter. But that it's unique to what your personality is, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, they are paying attention to the things that I like. So
Yeah.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah. I would echo the same thing, that someone has thought about me and knows me. I feel known. You know, if I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of get like, even if I get, and no one has gifted me this, so I can feel very safe saying this. If someone gifted me like this plaque about the ocean is an awesome place because I'm a mermaid, right? And it's just super ugly, and like there is no way I'm putting that up in my house. If somebody gave that to me, I'd be like, like they get me. They know me. They know me, right? It
Yes.
would not have
Yeah.
gone
Yes.
wasted. As opposed to if somebody
Yeah.
just gives me something random and I'm like, I mean that's really cool and it was probably really expensive, but like, you know, what am I going to do with that? It
Yeah.
just doesn't have
Andrew,
the same
actually, oh,
message.
sorry.
No,
Yeah,
it's
for
Yeah.
go
sure.
ahead.
Yeah, Andrew, actually, he's 15. He is a fantastic gift giver. So he designed some shoes for me online, and they're all Broncos, Denver Broncos. And it says Denver Bronco on the heel, and they're orange
That's
and blue,
awesome.
knowing that I love the Broncos. I was like, and then he gave me this little thing to put in the garden. Talks about being a good mom
Oh,
to put in the garden because I know, I mean, the kid is such a good gift giver. Did it come from the dollar store?
Uh,
Maybe, but it does not matter.
doesn't matter.
He's
right.
paying attention to the details. Yeah.
And I think this is one of the hardest things to do as a parent to get right, if I'm being honest. As our kids grow, I think when they're younger, it's a little bit easier to navigate. What are they like? How do we make it even among all the kids? But once you start having some grow up and you have daughter in laws come in or sons in law come in, and you got to figure out how to shop for everybody and keep them happy. And then you have grandchildren come in. How do you navigate that presence? Are there tricks that you've come up with that you navigate giving presents to your children that are adults?
I'll jump on this real quick. So because there's so many, there's five, and then three of them are married, and then there's four, and then there's four grandchildren. So it just gets to be too big, and to try to buy specifically gifts for everyone is so overwhelming and expensive. So one thing we've
Mhm.
done, well, this will be our third year doing this, is we go to it's called the retreat at Hiawassee, and they have different cabins. So we rent out space. There's a space for us to eat. There's a kitchen there, and that is their gift. Plus, we give them a little bit of money, but at the gift of just being together. I provide the food. We do just activities, but really, it's just for everybody to just sit around and play pool, do a puzzle, kind of whatever you want to do, just hanging
Mhm.
out and being with each other. And then, like I said, we give them a little bit of money. And even with that, we kind of make it fun. We did a scavenger hunt, and, it's fun to see these adult kids, running across the path, like, oh, what's the next clue?
Oh, that's so fun.
Just to make it kind of fun for them and to feel a little bit kiddish and play a little bit too. Cause that we
Yes.
always want to be doing that. And so that's just been something how we kind of get away from having to just sit around and open presents. And so now, because there's four grandkids, we do buy gifts for them because it's magic for them to open up gifts. So that's one way we've
I love
transitioned.
that. So you kind of combine the both. You kind of combine
Mm-hmm.
presents, a physical present with presents
Y'all are
of being
frozen.
together. Like
Mm-hmm.
that sounds ideal
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And that works well. Alicia, what about you? How do you handle this?
So, about 2 years ago, I really started to lean more into the presence of being with each other relationship wise than the gifts.
Mhm.
And our we've got four grandkids now, but on both sides my daughter-in-laws and sons have expressed to me that even though I love going out and buying things for the kids and I love watching them open it, like just they're like, oh my gosh, I got this, right? Like that part, just like it's such joy for
Yeah.
me. But they have so much stuff now, so much stuff, and they're like, we don't really want any more stuff. Now they're all about if I want to get things and then have those live at our house, so they don't have more stuff.
Mhm.
But it really started to make me think like, you're right. Like they don't want more stuff. Wait, and who remembers the stuff, right? Do you like? I remember the one baby alive. I'm trying to rack my brain. What else did I get? I remember I got a watch when I was in middle school that my mom gave me, and then somebody stole it. I think I probably remember it because it got stolen, and I felt so bad. But would I have remembered it? Like it's the
Mhm.
relationship stuff that we take with us. So I started 2 years ago for my daughter-in-laws, I set up a spa overnight at a bed and breakfast in Dahlonega, and we all went and did that together, and that was our Christmas gift. For the boys, I did an experience with their dad. So for our middle son, who lives in St. Pete, I sent Jeff to go have a fishing trip with him. For our oldest, who had just gotten a big green egg, I sent those two to a big green egg boot camp in Johns Creek over here where we live, where they learned all this stuff and then invited the plus ones. So S and I got to go eat dinner with Spencer. He wanted to do nothing. I'm like, if you could go anywhere, like, what would you want to do? And he's like, I really just want to do nothing, Mom. I'm like, oh, you and your dad both. This is perfect. It wasn't so perfect because they had to go on a 5-mile hike to the hike in. They're like, wait, we have to hike. I'm like, it's a couple hour walk. Anyway, that's another story. But they basically got sent to go hang out at this hike in where they were like, literally, there's nothing to do there. They feed you off the land and you can sit in hammocks and just be. And so that's what I kind of started 2 years ago. And then this past year, we just gave them all money and said, hey, here's some money, go have some fun. Also, here's a certificate. It's good for one overnight to watch all your kids and your dog and whatever else you got, so you guys can just have an experience with yourself, be alone. But then for the grandkids, I set up, there's a place in Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area where it's kind of like Great Wolf Lodge, where they have all this lodgy stuff, and there's an indoor swim park and ice skating and like all of this cool stuff. So we did that for the grandkids as their Christmas gift, where they went with us. Of course, I checked with the parents first, because you can't plan what do you give, like, oh, hey, it's time for us to take your kids for the weekend. But yeah, and that was really fun too. And I will add, I know I've been talking long. One of the things that we did for them is I gave them a little travel bag that I put together. So I went to the dollar store and I got them like the little neck pillows, and like the dinosaurs and things that they liked. And then I got them the little warmies. If y'all don't know what warmies are, they are so amazing for the littles, and they have these flax seeds or whatever, lavender inside. You heat them up for like 30 seconds, and it's like a heavy thing where they can like have these smells that are just calming and hold on to it. And so I got them, like, somebody got a bear, somebody got a fox, somebody got I don't remember, a moose or something. They were all like lodge animals that I did. And then like a little goodie bag for the car that I stuck in like coloring things and little games and stuff like that. So so that is, it costs a little bit more, but you don't have to do things that cost more, right? You can do that.
What I love about both of those. Yes, what I love about both of what you both said, you really did combine the two. You combined a present with presents, and you both included yourself in the gift. And I'm pretty good about giving experiences and like a gift, certificate for membership to the Children's Museum or to the aquarium, but it's not necessarily with me. And what I love the most about what you both shared is you are part of that, because let's be honest, you're right, Alecia, that's the stuff that's going to matter, not the little toys that we bought them. It's something that's going to last a lifetime in their memory bank. And we have limited time with these grandchildren. I mean, hopefully we can see them grow up and, be parents themselves, but you don't know. And so to take advantage of giving them the gift of time with you, I think that's the magic. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and it was also fun to watch them open stuff. I mean, even like with the kids, like the daughter-in-laws, I found somebody had given me this big, huge tube. It was huge, like 8 foot tall. I don't know what came in it. They're like, hey, can you guys use that? Jeff's like, no, put that in your own trash can. I'm like, no, I'll use it. So I took it and I wrapped it up and I addressed it to the two girls. And then inside I put, we were going for a spa weekend. So I went to TJ Maxx and I got all of these like face masks and foot scrubs and like fun little things to put in there for them. Like little snacks for the trip and stuff like that. So like they opened it up and they had to work as a team to open it up. So it was a lot of fun to even just watch that. And they were kind of like, oh, okay, what's going on here? So hopefully that was a good memory for them.
Yeah, I love that. Again, for my adult children, I've done like one year I did monogrammed robes for everyone. We all got monogrammed robes that match. So even now, some I'll go to, my son and daughter-in-law's house and their monogram robes are there. But if we're all
Oh,
together, we'll wear our
Fun.
monogram
oh,
robes and
that's a
things
good
like
idea.
that. Or we'll do, I'll do a theme. Like everybody will get a new kitchen, some kitchen stuff, or everybody will get some barbecue stuff. Or I did a date. Oh, I did a beach bag one year because I thought when you're a young couple, you don't necessarily have all the like a beach bag and good beach
Right.
towels. So I bought them all
Right.
really nice beach towels and sunscreen, and so they could have their own little scout bag with all
Mm-hmm.
the stuff in it. So I try to do that, but gosh, you are really getting me on this presence thing because
Mm.
I really am a fan of that. And I think it's going to be the most important for them. What about to the grandparent who's like, I'm going to buy my child a present? In fact, Alicia, do you mind sharing a little bit of that story you were telling us? Leave names out, but you were sharing a dilemma that a person had about presents with their new
Yes.
in laws.
Yeah, so
Share that.
a girlfriend of mine, and they're a blended family. So she's got her kids, he has his, and there are different finances going on within these all these blended families, right? But his parents are pretty well off, and they have always bought really nice, very like highly priced gifts for their grandkids. Well, now they have these two bonus grandkids. And so they want to shop and buy, like, they don't want them to feel left out. Like, oh, well, these are only our grandkids now, right? They're trying to include them in the whole thing. And my friend is feeling kind of like, we don't want you to do that because we can't match that. It's like you're giving these kids stuff and like we can't measure up to that and we don't want them to have all this stuff, and so that is kind of the dilemma that she's having. And like I think about it from a mother-in-law perspective always because I am one now, and I'm like, oh wow, like if somebody said, hey, please don't give my kids these great gifts, I would that'd be really hard for me. I would want to respect it, but at the same time maybe I might not understand, why do you not want me to give gifts to these kids? I might have a hard time understanding that. But yeah,
So,
that
what
was
is
that
the
was kind of the
answer? What is
dilemma.
the answer for that?
Well,
I
for
mean, I
one,
don't
I
know.
mean,
I think
being
the
in a blended
conversation is
family, the facts
necessary.
that the
Yeah.
yeah, that the grandparents even want to include the bonus kids is huge in a blended
I
family.
agree.
That's not normal. I don't think that's normal. And then
Mm-mm.
also, I think something we do as parents, I've done this, is thinking that if I give my kids the best gifts financially or whatever that looks like, then they're going to love me more rather
Mm-hmm.
than, just continuing in the traditions and allowing those grandparents to love on your kids whatever that looks like. I feel like we don't give kids maybe the benefit of the doubt of being smarter than they are, that they're not going to see, oh, they love me more than you do,
Right.
because like we're saying, it is more about the presence, and so they're going to be grounded in the home and what the home is like and what the traditions you do.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
But
the answer
also,
is, just communication, talking about it, and I
I
don't
was going
know.
to say and suggest maybe, gosh, we are so thankful that you want to be in their lives and they would love to get to know you better. So maybe, is there something you could spend the money on where we could get to know you better? They could get to know you better if
Mm-hmm.
they're open for that. I mean, be pro
Yeah.
relationship. So,
Yeah.
I think it's okay to say, gosh, that is so generous. They really don't need more stuff, but boy, they've never been on a trip with anyone. And I think that would be so fantastic if you would be willing to
Yeah.
take them on a trip. We were on a plane ride back to Birmingham from New York, and I sat by this grandfather and his little granddaughter. I'm like,
Oh.
dreamy situation, right? The
Hmm.
little girl's in the middle, and I had come back from speaking somewhere. I can't remember where I came back from, but I had some books with me. So I'm over here making books on the airplane. I mean, I'm probably winning best guest on an airplane with a little kid. I am loving it. But what I loved the most was the conversation with the grandfather. I'm like, it's unusual to see a grandfather with a little 3-year-old granddaughter, right? And his wife and the grandson were sitting a few rows up. And he said, yeah, we decided to grab our grandchildren and take them to the Bahamas for a few days. The mom their daughter had had surgery or something, and we wanted to give her a break. So we're like, we were going to go to the Bahamas ourselves. And we're like, well, why not take them and spend some time with them? Y'all, it was so special. Now, we all can't afford to jump on a plane plane and take our grandkids. I can't afford to do that to the Bahamas, but that wasn't the important part. The important part was their willingness to. I mean, this grandfather was sitting next to this little 3-year-old, totally had her backpack with her snacks, all the things. They just jumped in and said, "We can do this." And
Mhm.
that's what it should be about. Like, don't focus so much on the gift. Focus on what can we do to further the relationship with our children and their
Mhm.
children. And the holidays are a beautiful chance to make that stronger, or it's a real chance to blow it up.
Mhm.
If you get so
Yeah.
hung up on, if you're the parents or the in-laws, we've always done it this way, we must give the gifts. Or if you're the adult child with young kids and say, no, 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 you're not doing that with my kids. Again, it goes back to you, Alecia, last episode of grace and empathy, even in the gift giving.
Mhm.
Even in the gift giving, if they do give your child the loudest toy with the most batteries and you hate it for your child, don't
I have a
be
hack for
don't
that,
be
by
a
the way.
jerk. Don't be
You
a
want to hear my
jerk
hack?
though and say, I can't believe it, as soon as I finish this thought. Don't be a jerk and say, why in the world would you give that to my kid? You know, we're going to throw it away as soon. I mean,
Yeah.
don't be that person. Accept it with grace and sure, then give them your hack, Alecia, because I'm sure it has something to do with
I
batteries.
have two words for you, and because Jeff had two older brothers, and we have three boys, and so everybody thought it would be really funny to give our boys like noise toys. Two words for you, mamas: bath toys. Take the batteries out. Bath
That's
toys. Those things will never make a noise again, and they
uh,
still get to play with them in the bathtub. Boom.
Yeah, definitely
great.
take the
Problem
batteries
solved.
out
Great
for sure
idea.
before you
So I
put them
have
in
a
the bathtub.
quick
That
little
is,
example of this. Tommy actually he recorded a karaoke. So he was contracted out to be the voice on a karaoke microphone for kids. And so it's his voice singing, all those little kids songs, ABCD, whatever. It's kind of obnoxious. So I did give it to Kayla for Millie 1 year for Christmas. And this thing, Hank loved it. He just kept pushing the buttons. It's crazy. Kayla was like, yep, nope,
That's
I don't care if
funny.
it's Uncle Tommy. No, we're not doing it. It's so funny.
I, yeah, well, hopefully she wasn't a jerk about it, but I'm sure she
No,
was.
no, no.
But I think it is important to be when and listen, I'm not the best at receiving a gift that I don't love. If I'm being super honest, because my facial expressions, you guys, give me away. So I don't handle that. My dad always taught us to say, it's exactly what I've always wanted. Whether you liked it or not, this
Mm,
is your response. Thank you so much for this gift. It's exactly what I've always wanted. It's what I've always wanted. So now it's kind of a joke among my siblings. We'll give each other horrible gifts and go, it's what I've always wanted. But my face is going to give it away. So I'm not the best. I'm preaching to myself. When you receive a gift, that's not your favorite, you still be gracious and you still accept that. And you teach your children to do the same. Like my sweet grandson recently gave them a gift and he looked at me and goes, I didn't even want this gift. I wanted a drone. And I wanted to go, you little jerk. What do you mean you wanted a drone? Be thankful, you know, but I didn't say that. I was like, well, sorry, this is what you get. But so what are some favorite things? Let's close up. This is going to be a short one. It's holiday season. You guys are busy. But what are some practical things you can do to create meaningful experiences for presents that are also presents? Do you have some? We've already said the trips to somewhere
trips.
like Great Wolf Lodge, to your cabin. Maybe if there's a shared hobby, maybe if you love golf and your grandson has started doing that, maybe you can do a golf trip with them, or
Mhm.
just a golf lesson. Doesn't even have to be a trip, but maybe do a combo
Mhm.
golf lesson. What are some other things you can think of that would make great focus on presence,
Mhm.
but can be the physical present?
I
And
love your
Kathy,
idea
anytime my
about getting
grandkids.
like aquarium
Sorry.
memberships, or I loved your idea about like aquarium memberships and things around their
Yes.
area,
Right.
because they can go with each other. You can go with take them one time. They can go with aunts
Yes.
and uncles that are around. So I love that idea. It's like an
Yeah.
ongoing gift.
It is. We've done a lot of those over the years for them. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things. But again, most of the time they go with their mom and dad, and I've taken them some too. But see, I love your idea of being very focused with the grandparent as far as the gift.
Mm.
So I have an idea. And I have not done this yet, but I keep seeing things on my TikTok for kids cooking sets because I love to cook.
Yeah.
And the ones that are old enough, like they love to do stuff. So it has like this little set of like knives that they can use that are safe. It doesn't cut them. It's like this whole little set. So, and I was actually thinking about this
It's
for
cute.
this year with, it could be a couple of them, but you get them that set and then maybe they do an overnight at your house. Super it was super inexpensive experience to do. Give them the set and then plan a day with them, depending on how old they are, on what they want to cook that day, right? And then like make the
Hmm.
meal. Maybe you're
Yes.
baking
Yeah.
pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. Maybe you're doing, whatever the thing is, and it's just you and that child having that experience using their toys. Everything focused on kind of what they want to do. A little overnight like that. I think
Yeah.
that would be a
Yeah.
great
Great
There's a
idea.
group. There's a group called Radish Kids, by the way. They have a membership. So you actually can order a
Ooh.
membership to their kitchen kit, and they send a new box every month to the child with some tools, with some recipes. So that's also, I mean, I don't know if you can just do 1 month,
Radish
but you could
kids.
do if you,
Yeah,
it's
just
called
kids.
Radish Kids, and she does a
Okay.
great. It's just a great concept of that, and we've done that before too with my kids. I've sent them some Radish Kids boxes over the years, and
I love that.
that's fabulous. So
Yeah.
listen, what that does is that's personalized, especially if you have a child who loves that. Horseback riding. I mean, what? Here's the key: you got to know your grandchildren, know what they
Mhm.
love. It's what we started off with. What's important to you about a gift? Being seen. And that goes not only to our children, but also to our grandchildren. See our grandchildren, and then what is something that they might enjoy that is an experience with you or with their family, and maybe it's something you love that you want to introduce to them. Maybe it's sewing. Maybe you love to sew, and that's something, or crocheting or whatever. It could be something that you love that you would like to pass on to them. So I
Mhm.
think those are some good places to start. But I think as far as the actual physical presence, pay attention to what your children are saying. If they're asking for, don't bring us the stuff, then you respect that. That goes with, if they're asking you, don't fill their stockings full of every chocolate, then you respect that. Maybe you have a tradition that is important to you, then you might say, can I do this one thing? I know next week we're going to be talking about traditions. We have some special ones in our family that I hope my children carry on, but they might not. So, again, open communication, like we've always said, I think is the key,
Yeah.
even with this when we come to presents,
Hmm.
and
Absolutely.
remembering that being present,
Hmm.
being present is key
That's what
yourself.
they
Any
remember.
Hmm.
final thoughts, Carrie? It is. Carrie, any
Yeah,
final thoughts
I
before we
don't.
go to
I
deposits?
think it's just going in again to the season with just grace and remembering that it is just about these relationships. Sometimes they're easy and
Mm,
sometimes they're not, and sometimes the holiday season can bring out the worst in us. And just to remember that, like you said, life is a gift, and we're here, and we get to do this with
mm.
the people around us, and to focus more on that.
Yeah.
Grace for
Yeah.
ourselves.
Alicia,
That's great.
so
That's
good.
great.
Alicia,
Yeah,
what about
I
you?
mean, I
Any
think
final thoughts?
no, I mean, I think y'all just you nailed it. I mean, it's about the relationships. Those kids are not going to remember the stuff that they get. I mean, 10 years from now, what did you
No.
get? What did you get? I mean, we kind of remember maybe there's some core memories of like Baby Alive and the TV, that triggered some things for us. But I mean, overall, my kids don't remember all of the stuff that they got, but they do remember
No.
when we did stuff together, when we,
Hmm.
got a tent
Yeah.
for Christmas and then went camping in the backyard, right? And made
Hmm.
s'mores in the
Right.
fireplace and like, hey, the tent's the Christmas gift, but then let's use those gifts to build the relationships because that's what's going to be for the long haul
Yep.
as they grow into adults for you young mamas as well.
So let's close with a deposit. What's a deposit that we can make this week with this topic? Maybe it's you having an open conversation. Maybe it's you observing your grandchildren to see what they're interested in. Maybe it's you shooting your daughter-in-law, son-in-law a text today and just saying, hey, I'm thinking about you this holiday season.
Mm.
Let me know how I can help you out. Can I watch the kids while you
Mm.
go shopping? Can I bake dinner, bake some cookies together with you or for you, or how can I serve you? And maybe if you're the young adult with young children, maybe you can reach out and just say, thank you so much for the way that you love on us, or do something to invest in the relationship this holiday season. Bring the focus back
Absolutely.
to the relationship versus the chaos and the frenzy
Yeah.
that often takes over.
And I'm
Yeah.
gonna, Kathy,
Thanks so
I
much
want
for
to
listening.
challenge.
Next week, we're going to talk about,
I want to challenge young
go
moms
ahead.
for the deposit, right? Even if like your mother-in-law is cringy and you're like, she hates me, she always says mean things to me, she doesn't respect me. I want to challenge you guys to be the one that does something kind for her, because when you are the first one to make that move, it starts to change the dynamic. I know it's hard. See if you can do it. That's it.
Yeah,
I
that's a
said what I
great one.
said.
All right. Next week, you did. We're going to take it in. Next week,
Whoop,
we're talking
whoop.
about traditions. Thanks. Thanks for being
Woo-hoo.
here.